Wyoming is just one of two states in the lower 48 without any Amtrak routes. And yet, I think that most people who live in the state can be served with just three passenger rail lines. The second of those three lines will be proposed in today's video. The first stop for this line would be at Denver's Union Station, which is probably not a huge surprise, given the city's proximity to the state of Wyoming. Like with the previous video proposing passenger rail to Wyoming, I had a decision to make. Do I take this train by way of Boulder and Fort Collins, or do I take it by way of Greeley? Well, I took the previous route by way of Boulder and Fort Collins. I'm taking this proposal by way of Greeley. As to why, I'll explain later in this video. And then you can either agree or disagree with my reasoning in the comment section below, if you'd like. But the first stop after Denver is actually not in Greeley, but rather Brighton. It has a population of about 40,000 people. Brighton is named after the New York City neighborhood of Brighton Beach. As a side tangent, it's kind of funny how some of us say that we hate New York, yet name cities after New York neighborhoods, as well as advertise New York style bagels and New York style pizza. Make of that what you may. The following stop would be in Fort Lupton. It had a population of around 8,000 people as of the 2020 census. And apparently, it has grown quite a bit in the past few years since 2020. The train would then get to Greeley. It is a city with a population of about 108,000 people. Also, their public transit entity has one of the funnier acronyms, GET, standing for Greeley Evans Transit. To get around, I guess I have to get on GET. I get it. Before I get too carried away with puns for this public transit system, I should talk about the next stop, which is in Cheyenne, Wyoming. It is the capital of Wyoming, and the most populous city of Wyoming, at about 65,000 people. Fun fact, it turns out that their buses are free. And no, Cheyenne is not some socialist safe haven. Quite the opposite, in fact. Perhaps the story of how Cheyenne made its buses free is a story for its own video. The following stop is Wheatland. It has a population of about 3,600 people, and is the smallest municipality served by this route. This route continues in the northerly direction until it approaches Interstate 90, at which point the trackage follows I-90 for a time. The following stop would be in Gillette. Gillette has a population of about 33,000 people, nearly twice the size of the city about 30 years ago. This makes the city the third most populous in Wyoming, only behind Cheyenne and Casper. After Gillette, the route goes in a more northwest direction for a while. And amid going in that direction, there's a stop in Sheridan, which has a population of about 18,700 people. It is Wyoming's sixth largest city. The line then crosses into Montana, and the first Montana stop would be in Hardin. It has a population of about 3,800 people. The next stop is kind of a big deal. That stop is Billings. It is Montana's largest city, at about 117,000 people. A city of this size seems like a good terminal stop, right? It may seem like a good terminal stop, but I'm not going to have this as a terminal stop. Rather, I propose that this line branches in two after the stop in Billings. One branch would head to Great Falls, with no intermediate stops. Great Falls is Montana's third largest city. The other branch would head to Helena by way of Bozeman. The two stops would be in Bozeman and Helena. I already proposed passenger rail to Bozeman, which has about 53,000 people. But this is my first proposed rail line for Helena, Montana's state capital, and thus marks the end of my second of 3 proposed lines for the state of Wyoming. If you have thoughts on my proposed line, please leave those thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure also to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content on imagining better mass transit in the United States. Now for my thoughts. As promised earlier in this video, I should give an explanation behind why I took this line by way of Greeley, rather than Boulder and Fort Collins. The reason is simple. Of the 3 routes proposed for Wyoming, this is the one that goes north the most. As such, I decided to go with the most directly northern route for Colorado, which is to take this by way of Greeley. Besides, I've already proposed rail service for the corridor that includes Boulder and Fort Collins. It's therefore high time for me to propose rail service for the corridor that heads to Greeley. Despite the fact that this route goes in a more northward direction than the previous route I proposed, there is a lot of this route in northern Wyoming as well as Montana, where it goes west or northwest. Well, I will admit to being a sucker for lines that follow neat, gridded patterns. Pragmatic me recognizes that this is just not possible due to the positioning of where the largest cities are in relation to each other in this part of the country. Going further north, I was tempted to just end this route in Billings. And, given the size of Billings, I can see why one would propose Billings as the terminus for such a proposal. However, I vividly remember how the long distance rail line I proposed for Montana did not go through 2 sizable cities, the state capital of Helena, as well as Great Falls, Montana's 3rd largest city. I saw creating Helena and Great Falls branches of this line as a potential way to address this gap. If this line came to fruition in tandem with the long distance line I proposed for southern parts of Montana, there would then be passenger rail for all of Montana's 6 largest cities, as well as 7 of Montana's 8 largest cities. Literally, all it takes is for 2 additional lines to bring another 33% of Montana's population within access of passenger rail. I don't think a lot of people realize that, especially in more sparsely populated parts of the country, you only need a few train lines to massively improve connectivity for a lot of people. I've said a lot of positive things about this line. Now I should say something negative. And that negative thing is that this service, if it ever exists, is unlikely to be implemented in a manner that provides frequent service to anyone along this line. Or, at least unlikely without a massive restructuring of Amtrak and how it's funded. Here's why. In Amtrak's system, lines that are 750 miles or more in length are subsidized by the federal government and runs once a day or less. A line from Denver to Helena would be close to 900 miles, and a line from Denver to Great Falls would be roughly the same distance. What this means is that, without significant restructuring, this is a line that would run only once a day, due to it being above that 750-mile threshold. One possible solution to this could be for this line to terminate in Billings, and that there are shuttle trains that connect Billings to both Great Falls and Helena. After all, if the line terminated in Billings, it would be below that 750-mile threshold, meaning that people between Denver and Billings could theoretically get service more than once a day. But also, that means some people will have to transfer trains, and I don't like giving people additional transfers if I can help it. So, this is not a perfect solution either. Albeit, it may be the best solution within the current, flawed structure of Amtrak, so that you don't doom cities along this route to only once a day service. This all may be academic, though, because I think that there is a low probability of this route coming to fruition anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong, though. I desperately want to be proven wrong.